welcome to the Third Rail.
Welcome.
I missed you guys.
You did.
I haven't been here for a while.
We haven't been around each other for a while, have
No,
we?
we
It's been good, but it's been bad.
It's been bad. I've missed you.
Really?
Yes,
Nice.
I have.
Good.
Yeah, I have.
Okay, that's great.
And we've got a great show.
That's
tonight.
right. Yeah,
we do have a great show.
That's the word on the street.
Later on, Margaret Court, Schapelle, our own Schapelle, and School Scars. But first, we're going to start with the Uluru Statement and, frankly, the lack of political leadership in this country is how I want to put it. So last week, hundreds of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people from all over the country met in Central Australia to discuss a referendum on constitutional recognition of Indigenous people. Now, the group rejected the idea of constitutional recognition, instead favouring a treaty and a constitutionally enshrined political body to allow their voices to be heard in the political process. Now, Nick, I think this is really interesting because they've obviously rejected this symbolic idea of constitutional recognition and want real and meaningful
Yeah, but
action.
it could be symbolic in essence anyway.
Well,
what
it
they're
might
doing.
be.
Well, that's probably how it would end up.
Yeah.
It may well,
Yeah.
but at least I think it's really interesting that they've rejected outright this idea that it's enough to just be named in the Constitution
That's
or
symbolic
acknowledged
too.
as the first people of the country. What do you think?
Look, you know, there's the whole reaction, Barnaby Joyce, not going to fly. It's never going to work, you know. Pretty standard sort of stuff. And what it makes me wonder is I see it as kind of, it's totally like more, if we could go any further backwards in our relationship with Indigenous Australians, this is another example of it. You know, what's the threat of this? Like, what happens if you
What are they
push...
scared
You mean
of?
to Barnaby Joyce?
Yeah. If you
yeah.
pushed all this through, right, and you'd probably end up with a situation where you had a new body constitutionally enshrined, which you'd just ignore and, you know, it would be business as usual. I don't believe that they have any interest in, you know, making real gains with this sort of stuff. And it just makes me wonder, what is the threat, you know? I saw this story on the TV last night. It's about some Aboriginal groups don't want people to drive four-wheel drives and quad bikes through sacred areas of land. They're like, please don't.
Yep.
And these like motoring enthusiast sort of characters are like, well, fucking why not? And the answer to that is, because you're allowed to do it over there. They just don't want you to do it right here. Like, just ease up.
Bit of respect.
You know, it's like 10 square kilometres or it's nothing, just cool it off, and they still won't even accept that.
Yeah, I don't get it either. I mean, it was interesting because the Federal Indigenous Affairs Minister, Nigel Scullion, came out and said that he thinks some members of the government were frightened by something they didn't understand, which to me, I actually thought, yeah,
It's probably
okay.
true.
That's probably
It's
true.
probably true.
That's probably true. But even Barnaby Joyce, like, he got it all wrong. Like, he was basically suggesting that there was going to be some additional chamber of parliament,
Yeah.
and which is actually not at all the proposal. And you sort of think, you know, who are these people?
Yeah.
Who are these
Sort
elected
of reminds
representatives?
me of our sporting teams, and especially within the AFL. If you notice, there's no more than 3 or 4 Indigenous players on any AFL team, basically because, well, they don't want to create a faction within the team, and then the coach loses the authority over the team because then he has to get to the factional leader to get through to those groups of players. So they might have maybe 1, 2 or 3, and that's where they can gain control over the Indigenous players there. It's the same sort of thing here. They don't want to give too much because they don't know what it might lead to. And that's the problem.
But what could it possibly lead to? Like, you know, is the idea that there's going to be some sort of black fella revolution is going to spring up when really, from their point of view, they only want this much more, like, you know, it's inch by
So
inch.
incremental, yeah.
But in the white man's head, and I'll
No.
tell you what, this is latent guilt and fucking so you should have it. It's this idea that give them an inch, you know, they'll take a mile. It's
so
not even realistic.
It's just so
It's
condescending
stupid.
and
It's
patronising.
stupid.
And it reminds me a lot about the discussions that there were in the aftermath of the Mabo judgment, which I remember being at law school and studying that. And there was so much hysteria around, it just means that everyone's backyard is unsafe and people who've paid all this money for their houses are going to lose their properties. And it's sort of like, no, you know, it doesn't work like that. And there's this, for me anyway, I think that if you've got, you know, these Indigenous leaders, these communities coming together saying, this is what we need to move forward, to have control, some level of control over our destiny. I mean, even Noel Pearson came out and said, it's very likely that if this body gets up, that Parliament could ignore it.
Yeah, but
right?
that's true. But, like,
But
what are they
it's-
talking about? 4 people anyway? Only 4 people?
Well, I think that process is going to be worked out, and we're still waiting for the report coming out of these meetings that were held
They're
last
still a bit
week.
hamstrung with those 4 people
Well,
anyway.
they may well be, but at least it gives them a voice. And I think that's important. If there are people coming to you saying, we are a dispossessed people, we are the only Commonwealth nation that hasn't entered into a treaty with its Indigenous people. If the Indigenous people are coming to you and saying, we need this to move forward, then why not? Like, what the hell is
Because they
the
don't
problem?
want them to move forward, never have.
No.
Same old story. You know what? Nation founded by a bunch of crooks, thieves, liars, and fucking scumbags who started ripping off everyone from the get-go, including the Aborigines, and frankly, nothing has really changed.
And that's probably a very good point to wrap up that story. Margaret Court, well, she's at it again. First she said she'd boycott Qantas because of Alan Joyce, the CEO's stance on same-sex marriage. Now she's come out on, and I think I've got this right, Vision Christian Radio, and said that, and I'm
That's on my
quoting a little...
Vision Radio.
Vision
Yes,
Radio. Vision
Vision Radio.
Christian. Vision Christian.
Something
Yes.
terribly wrong with that.
Oxymoronic.
Yeah.
She has said, just some outrageous things. Homosexuality is a sin, she says. It's an ungodly, and I quote, lust for the flesh. Gay tendencies in young people were, and I quote, all the devil.
the devil.
Then, of course, as these sorts of people often do, they've got to bring in a bit of Hitler and communism. Just like Hitler and communism did, she says, this is basically a plot to get in the minds of children.
Oh, God. It's very... What a conspiracy. What a conspiracy.
I don't even know where to
How do
start.
you even... Is this even worthy of controversy? You know,
I don't
that's
know.
just some insane rant. How old is this woman?
74.
She's 74.
Hmm.
Is she just going, fuck it?
I'm going to open up a can of shit today.
Well, it's interesting actually because the context is important, and I think that this has sort of been glossed over in this discussion because it's sort of led, the initial call for the boycott of Qantas has led to people calling for a boycott of
But
the
why does
Margaret Court
everyone give a
Arena.
shit if she doesn't want to fly Qantas anymore? That's her choice.
not
You know
fly.
what? It's not a big deal. I mean, let her say what she wants to say. And this is what people sort of throw up their arms and go, I can't believe she said that. She's one person.
I know.
You know, and if she wants to say it, let her say it and let her move on. She'll be gone soon anyway. She's 74, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't really even matter. I don't know why anyone gives these issues the air that it doesn't really deserve. I mean, it's just one person. It's just like someone down the street saying these sorts of things and you wouldn't even really take notice of it. Who cares if she's a former tennis champion? The only issue is that one of the courts at Flinders Park, I think it's still called that.
Is it the Margaret Court?
No, it's the Margaret Court Arena. And Andy Murray,
That's a missed opportunity.
It is a missed opportunity.
Andy Murray actually came out this week and he said they really need to sort it out in time for the Australian Open, which is ages away. But a lot of people have come out and pretty much told her to get lost and they want to change the name of the court. I don't know if that's going to do anything. I think by doing that, you're sort of exhibiting some of her traits. You know, you're excluding people, whereas basically you've just got to let things be. And you know what? You give it enough air, it'll become something big enough. If you don't, it'll just go away. And that's all you've got to do. If it's not important and if you think that she's totally out of line, well, then don't give it any attention.
I know, maybe we shouldn't really talk about it for that reason.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Well,
it's
you
sort
brought it up.
I did bring it
You
up. But
brought it up.
one thing I thought was interesting is it's all become about boycotts, because it's become a big thing in the last, say, 6 months or so. With the Cooper's Brewery
Yeah,
boycott, then with the Kendall Jenner, the Pepsi threat of that being boycotted, and now this.
At least that's a material boycott, though. It's like,
Yeah.
I'm boycotting your name.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I think that's right. I was thinking, well, it's not as though Tennis Australia has come out and said these things,
No.
so then you go, I'll boycott the Australian
They've been
Open.
quiet about it, mind
They have
you.
been quiet
they haven't
about
said
it, which
anything.
is-
Well, that's a wise decision, probably.
I don't know. I mean,
maybe they should not say anything about it. But regardless, I mean, do people actually think everyone's going to agree with what they think? No. Who cares?
well,
Move on.
The context is important though, and because I was doing a bit of digging around on this, and thanks to Pauline Pantsdown on Facebook, I came across this. I don't know if it is the real Pauline Pantsdown. I assume it is. But apparently, when so this is in 1970 when Arthur Ashe was denied a visa.
Ashy.
To South Africa because they were in the midst of apartheid and he was denied a visa because he's black. She apparently didn't seem to have a problem with it, apartheid at all, and she reportedly said, and there was an article in which she was reportedly held to have said that South Africa have this thing, which I think she means apartheid, better organised than any other country, particularly America.
That's it. I've changed my mind. Fuck that. I'm sorry, Margie. I'm sorry. That's really fucked up.
But, you know, she said that in 1970, and then there's another other comments that she made along those lines in the context of the Arthur Ashe controversy, and she still got her, you know, the tennis court named after her. Yeah. So I sort of,
yeah, that's true.
That's
I mean,
I
get it.
You know, what's
Why
it
do
about?
people give a shit if people want to marry each other? Who cares what they do?
know,
Why is
I
it
don't
such
know
an
why.
issue
I
for
don't
people
know.
personally and emotionally? Why do they get so uptight about it? Just let people live. Let them do what they want to do. No one's hurting you. Let them be.
I know, let them be. It's not like anyone's forcing her to marry Martina, Navratilova or something.
Yeah,
you know?
well, yeah.
Maybe she secretly wants to.
Maybe she does.
Maybe she does. But anyway, Margaret Court, she's just. I think she's not going to stop. I think she'll just keep going. She's got a bit of taste for a little bit of controversy.
You know, it's not like she's come out. People have listened to her on that Christian radio station and then written an article about it. So, I mean, it's not like she's come out and said, hey, listen to what I have to say. I'm holding a press conference. I hate you and you and you and you. It's like she's going about her daily life. She's doing what she's doing. And people are listening and they're paying attention and then they're grabbing what they want and they're moulding it into a story. So, look, I don't know. I mean, for all the things said in the world, are we going to pay that much attention to every little thing that other people say?
I agree. And especially in this context, when the church that she is now, basically she founded, which is called the Victory Life Centre in Perth. She founded in 1995. She's a pastor there. I'll tell you what the purpose of this church is. So have a think about this and we'll wrap it up on it. It's a church whose purpose is, and I quote, to train an army to take this city and nation for Jesus.
Wow.
So when you've got that as context,
That's extremism.
Black power.
it's a bit of extremism. So thanks for that, Margaret Court. We'll look forward to hearing you say
Yeah,
something
Margie. See you
more
soon.
outrageous next time. Schapelle Corby.
Yeah.
What a media frenzy.
So stupid.
She's got her freedom.
Yeah. Who
And the
cares?
media have gone nuts.
Yeah, I know. Because they've got nothing better to do.
Yeah.
You know?
That's true.
It's ridiculous. Like, who in the hell cares when she's leaving her villa in Bali? Then you're going to follow her to the car. Then you're going to follow the car to the airport, right? And then, once they get to the airport, she's going to catch the plane. She's going to come into Brisbane, and you're going to have a helicopter hovering over. What's she doing
now?
now?
How much money would it have cost to
It's
put all these things
just
together?
silly, man. And you know what? It sort of does highlight how, you know, in life, you don't really need to do the right things. You don't really need to apply the things you were taught as a child. If you happen to stumble upon, let's just say, fame or attention, it doesn't really matter at the end of the
Drug
day what you
conviction
do.
in
Drug
Bali,
conviction.
yeah.
What are we telling people? I mean, we're sort of making people think that it doesn't matter how you get the attention, just get the attention, and then whatever happens from there,
It's all good.
that's right.
What do you think?
What do you think, Nick?
I don't know.
You don't know.
It's just a whole. It's the snake eating its own tail.
But you know what? Does she really want this stuff happening? She doesn't. I don't think you can blame Schapelle Corby.
No, but that's the thing, right? So that story, it appeared that it was going to fizz somehow, but then the story became about how clever she'd been to evade a pack of idiots
with microphones.
working journalism. And then they started going like, I saw the copy. It was everywhere. It was like, you know, meet the mastermind who, seriously, who plotted this like brilliant escape. You know, how did she evade us? We were everywhere, and we didn't even see her. We have to rate that. It's so absurd. You know, I don't know, and yeah.
Well, do you think things have been like this for a while now, or is this sort of like a flag in the ground moment where we have to take a look at ourselves and say, what the hell is going on here?
Yeah, I think it could be one of those moments because, you know, within a couple, she set up an Instagram account. I think
Yeah, like tens of thousands.
180,000. I checked it yesterday. 180,000 followers in like a few days.
You
right?
Check out this little
I'm not following because I'm not on
crayon thing
Instagram.
or
But you know,
whatever
yeah,
the
because
fuck
so she
that
did
is.
this painting, drawing, or whatever it is, to celebrate her
good.
freedom. It's actually not too bad.
Yeah, it's not bad.
But I do find it amazing. Like people have been obsessed with this story from the beginning.
Yeah.
No, it's
right?
because the media made an issue of it from the beginning.
But why are people interested in
Look,
it?
I think initially people were interested in it because of the whole baggage handler stuff with the Qantas baggage handlers and whether
The AFP angle.
Yeah, that's
and-
right. And all that kind of
stuff.
look, there were several threads to this story. And of course you're going to be interested in it because it's someone who could potentially lose their freedom over...
Just an ordinary person.
Yeah, just an ordinary person,
Girl
you know?
next door.
And no one really knows. And she does look like the typical Aussie girl next door, you know? And I think that's where the interest should stop. Whatever happens after that, okay, maybe when she gets out of, maybe when she's actually released from prison and then she's on parole in Bali for a while.
See, look, I get reporting on all of that stuff, and I get reporting on her finally coming home, and the traditional way to do it, which she'd come out and she'd say, look, I just want to move on and get on with my life and put all this whole thing behind me, as the saying goes. And that should really be that. But the media won't take no for it. They're like, this is a story, hell or high water, So therefore the story is...
How much do you think 9 or 7 are going to pay her? How much do you think 9 or 7 are going to pay her for that first interview?
Well, they're not. She's not allowed to get any money from it.
Yeah,
it's illegal.
She's criminal.
She'll get it confiscated.
But that's under another country's laws.
No? Yeah. Even if you're convicted of a crime...
You're the lawyer?
Overseas, I'm the lawyer.
Yeah.
But even if it's an overseas offence and a crime, you can't profit from it.
So you see, there's nothing in it for her at all.
Yeah. So
and frankly, I do give her props for just dodging the whole thing. Good work.
She hasn't actually come out and addressed the media. And she's
hasn't
not
done
looking for this.
anything.
Well, why would she need to? Why would she need
There's
to?
no more story.
Yeah.
It's happened.
That's
the
right.
paroles happened, the intrigue with the AFP, all that shit's happened, the fucking sentencing, everything. It's all history, man.
It's funny,
It's
I saw
finished.
some sort of commentary about it saying, she should actually come out and basically thank her Australian supporters. It's like...
What?
What?
Thank you for what?
She ended up in jail.
Letting me rot? You pricks, where's my bail money? That's what I'd be saying.
I'll tell you one thing. She's no Sukumaran. That's all I'll say.
No Chan, no
that's
Sukumaran.
true. That's true. But anyway, good luck, Schapelle Corby.
Yeah, Schapelle, I'm with you.
Enjoy your freedom.
Yeah, I know you don't want any of this attention. Just keep on, just do you, baby, do you.
So I was thinking about how in Hollywood and popular culture, teachers have a very esteemed kind of role. They play quite an inspirational kind of role, help people achieve their dreams, etc. A few days after the Manchester attack, apparently a 13-year-old girl in Texas, in junior high school, was given an award by her teacher at a mock award ceremony. And the award was for the person most likely to be a terrorist, which, is a bit...
What are you looking at, Nick? Don't look at me. I could see you too, your body was swaying a little bit this way too. You didn't want to go all the way though. I don't want to upset him. Who knows what he's got under the desk?
Not at all. A couple of other awards that were handed out at this mock award ceremony. Most likely to cry for every little thing was given to a girl.
Probably made her cry.
Probably made her cry. Most likely to become homeless was given to a boy.
That would piss me off.
Yeah,
that would. You know what that is? I have no
harsh.
faith in you. You cannot even have a house. You cannot even actually.
It's just awful. It'd just be awful. Imagine being a 13-year-old kid getting that sort of an award.
Honestly, would you rather get the terrorist award or the homeless award? I'd take the terrorist any day. That means I've got some sort of, guide, some sort of goal and objective.
Right.
You know what I mean?
This guy, technical know-how. You've got to be creative.
That's right. You've got to know everything.
That's right.
Terrorists
Pipe
are
bombs.
Hated. Terrorists are hated.
Car bombs.
No. I think the thing is.
So you'd rather be homeless than a terrorist?
You know
That's all you're saying? You'd rather be labelled? Yeah, I'll take the homeless hat. Yep, I'll have
taking the
no home.
I'm taking the reins of this conversation.
Okay, go.
Okay. I don't think these sorts of awards should be given out to any children.
No, they shouldn't.
I mean, it's outrageous. The relevant authority came out and said, it was a prank. I'm like, it's not a prank.
It's not.
This is a psychological
Did they have
damage.
a trophy? Did they have a trophy?
No, they had certificates.
That's ridiculous.
Certificates.
You see what I mean? If it was just,
certificates.
Yeah, that's
With
worse.
the name of the child.
Yeah, that's a lot of
and
effort
then
to really put people down.
text.
That's really the problem with it. I think the casual backhand from the teacher.
Yeah.
Not such a big deal necessarily. I'm sure they all stack up over time. But to have that presented to you as an official document.
At a ceremony.
Here it is.
Yeah.
That's
No
just
good.
awful.
Hopefully you'll make it to ISIS one day. my friend. Here you go.
outrageous.
Frankly, I think you'd have a better shot
See
with
you in Mosul,
Al-Qaeda because
motherfucker.
they've kind of had it. But yeah.
I don't know,
I mean, but it makes you think, doesn't it, about how important these teachers are in the lives of adolescents, especially. How influential they are. I mean, have you got any scars from the old days?
I've got heaps.
Yeah.
Too many.
Too many.
But I will give you a nice teacher story off the top of my head. Then I'll follow it with the arsehole story. I remember I was in an exam once, and an Armenian teacher, who was my substitute maths teacher, right? I was looking at the question. I think it was a fraction question. It was what's the reciprocal of 2/3, right? And the shifty bastard, what a champion! He whispered to me in Armenian. He told me the answer. That was good. Thanks, Mr. Manugian. You're a champion, mate. I still remember
fantastic.
that. Yeah, it's great. But
the arsehole story?
yeah, the arsehole story was when,
And we won't name names.
No, we won't name names, because she's scared about
Mr. Manugian.
defamation.
I am.
Ooh, allegedly, reportedly. Anyway. But, his name was Bryce. I'll use his first name, right? And he basically, I was a ratbag in school, and I understand where he was coming from. Now that I'm some sort of adult, I realised that my actions were wrong and the way I was behaving, a big attitude problem. And he basically said to me, if you didn't have that uniform on and if I wasn't in this job, I'd meet you after school and I'd beat the living shit out of you. That's basically what he said. And, I went home and told my mum, and you know what, she didn't bat an eyelid. She's probably thinking, yeah, I understand where he's coming from. Yeah. She didn't. It was like, oh, okay, whatever. Thanks for sticking up for me, Mum,
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think if you're going to hand out these sorts of awards to kids, I mean, they're not on your level. I mean, they don't know anything about irony.
No.
They know nothing about sarcasm. So basically, you're putting them down.
Yeah, totally.
Just for your own benefit of having a joke. Oh, you're likely to be the biggest terrorist in here. And you're not going to have a home. Have a good one.
What are these kids, 13?
Yeah, 13. Yeah.
13, man.
That's too
It's a
young.
pivotal point in your life.
It is.
Come on,
It's
you're telling
critical.
someone, look, you are not illustrious enough to even have your own home or even have a shelter over your head.
Yeah.
Good luck on finding dinner tonight. See you later.
Yeah.
It's just so
Stay in school.
absolutely depressing. What about you? Did you have any bad teachers?
Yeah, look, there were a couple of shitty ones, but I don't think they didn't really scar
Not like
me.
this.
No. I don't think so. I just had the one teacher sort of made some physical contact in an aggressive way.
Chested you.
Yeah, he chested me. He didn't. That was weird. He used to do that pretty often, actually.
To you only?
It felt like it. Yeah, I don't think he was doing that
Yeah, right.
all over the shop.
What, did he have hooks as hands or what?
No, but he was. You know what? He looked like a shorter white version of Dr. No.
Dr. No.
Yeah, he was a
Oh,
metalwork
right.
teacher, so he had the jacket
yeah.
and everything, and he was
right.
just he was a very strange man. Some of the ones that pissed me off the most were the ones that just didn't really give a fuck.
Yeah, there were a lot of
And
those.
it pissed me off because, later when I started thinking about things like science and stuff, I realised how poorly they're taught a lot of the time. And it's actually quite interesting, when you look back at, I don't know, the stuff you could have learned. It's not really there, but...
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I have that feeling too. I blame one teacher for me not, pursuing
was
physics and chemistry. I'm not going to say,
Oh, physics and chemistry.
but yeah,
Oh, okay.
I dropped it.
Yeah.
Dropped physics and chemistry. I could have been like, I don't know,
Oh, even better than what you are now.
maybe
Imagine that.
like an engineer or something. I could have been doing
that would have been
something
good.
Yeah.
actually significant and important.
That's right. Instead of twisting words and getting paid for it.
That's it. And it could be all because of this teacher,
But look,
But I have to say, I was never sort of chested.
Yeah.
That sort of thing didn't happen in a girls' school.
no.
And I was never, sort of put down in that way. But, there were times where you want to challenge the authority of the teachers because you're genuinely engaging in the subject matter. And at that age, when you're a teenager, you think you know everything.
Yes,
you
you
think
do.
you're the smartest person in the room.
I even think I know everything now. And I know
You
nothing,
do,
for sure.
yeah, that's true. And so it is a difficult job,
Yeah.
I've got to say, but there've got to be boundaries.
Yeah,
boundaries.
It's weird. It's a weird environment. I mean, I thought I knew everything when I was a kid. Then grew up a little bit, realised that I didn't know everything back then. But when I went to work casually as a teacher's aide in a high school in my early 20s, I was like, I was right about this. This is garbage. These people are idiots. And all these little kids are just like fucking
So your
raging little
opinion
pieces of
was
shit.
the same of
Yeah,
these
my
people
opinion
once
was
you
the
switch
same.
sides.
Yeah.
With
So-
more knowledge, I realised retrospectively
You were
that I was
correct.
completely right.
You do know something after all.
So maybe the lesson is that teenagers actually do know more.
Yeah,
than
they're
everyone
not
else.
always wrong.
No, that's probably right.
Not at all.
probably right.
You've got a hunch, follow it. Don't listen to the pathetic adults that are being paid to be around you.
Yeah.
Listen to the ones
Back
that,
yourself.
that are only emotionally invested in you, and and then blame them later on when things don't go to plan.
That's right. All right, well, I think we'll wrap it up on that note
Wrap.
our show tonight. Thanks very much for joining us on
Yes.
The Third Rail. It's been a pleasure as always, and we'll see you next time.
That's right. If you've ever seen us.